This is Luna Adele Bishop. I'm going to explain. Let's start off at 2012. In 2012, I was dating, by the time of August of 2012, I was dating Corey Michael Kane, and he cheated on me with Kimberly Weathers and Kimberly Cock and a couple other people I'm not going to mention because I'm going to keep them out of this because I don't have any real beef with them. The thing is that when we were going to get approved for Callahan's here in Hazeldale, my grandmother had put down a $500 deposit, and Corey thought it was okay as soon as we got approved to go down there and take the deposit and say he was my husband. We were never married. We were engaged. He had cheated on me with my first ex-girlfriend, Brittany Meeker, and I was just like, I'm done. We were together until January 13th of 2013, and his mother had kicked me out for drama. Something that, because I told her I was done with her son's cheating, lying, and two-facing towards me, and it wasn't all the cheating or the lies. It was the fact that he took $500 from my grandmother. So my mom and grandma went over there and packed all my stuff. I was homeless for 2 weeks, and I had moved into my uncle Ronald Lee Gibby's place in mid-March, approximately somewhere between the end of February 28th until March 6th. His mother had kicked me out due to the fact that I was seeing Nathan Patrick McKee. And she didn't like me because she found out I was related to Ron, and she didn't believe in family, being around family. Well, I didn't know he was my uncle until mid-June, because I found out my dad is William Kackenhauer, and he goes by Bill. He's my mother's first ex-husband. That my mom's name is Roberta Stanfield. She goes by Riley now because she's been married 3 times, but that's not the point. Point is that I was with Nathan. He was still married to Juliana Young at the time being. I got knocked up in mid-April of 2013, somewhere around there, mid-June. And they were to come back and whip my ass with her sister. Well, it ended up I showed her the pregnancy letter. So Juliana filed a divorce against Nathan. Nathan went into court. I was there in court with Nathan to support him because she took everything. I mean, literally, she took everything in the house. I don't really feel bad about that, but the fact is that I'm told I'm the bad wife when I gave him everything. But again, let's go back to the story here. So by August of 2013, they were divorced. Juliana Young had forced Nathan's mother to pay her back the money for the divorce, saying that she supposedly owed them. I had Charlotte April 17th of 2014. She was born at 10-something in the morning. She was a 6-pound baby and about approximately, I think, 5.3 ounces. But we took her home. I had her vaginally. I had a vacuum suction cup done with her. By June of 2014, I had gone to a WIC appointment. My grandmother had grabbed my daughter. I had to deal with a Russian, and someone didn't speak full English. I was trying to report my issue to WIC, and my grandma makes a scene by grabbing my kid. I told Nathan to grab my kid from my grandma, and he's too busy playing Dragon City. Well, that was the first issue. Okay, I didn't know about him taking off cheating on with Oompa Loompa or Kimberly Cock or Anna. Those things that come in life, yeah, you can live through good times and bad times. He's not a bad guy. It's just the fact that I picked the wrong person because I was weak at the time. But no, so I grabbed my girl and made a scene at WIC. Well, I didn't get a chance to fully report that WIC appointment. She said I put a 10-ounce bottle into a microwave into the microwave for 30 minutes, and I had to prove the courts, as soon as CPS took my kid, I had to prove to the courts that it was a 7-ounce bottle for 30 seconds, then given to my daughter after a couple times, making sure it was lukewarm. I approved a video to the courts at the time being of a plastic bottle melting into a microwave, and it had literally damaged and broke our microwave because I had proved to the courts that the WIC lady was an idiot because she didn't speak full English and because she couldn't understand my English. WIC got shut down for 6 months because of the lawsuit. Well, then the fact of the point, what made me, there's an issue before CPS stepped into the picture. A couple days before that, before they showed up and took her from my uncle's place, because we weren't even home when they took her. So they claimed that we lived at my uncle's when we didn't. We were visiting my uncle. Nathan was playing on PlayStation 3, I think it was. Yeah, PlayStation 3. He was playing Crazy Taxi. Okay, Crazy Taxi. Be warned, everyone, I do not like that video game, and it triggers my bipolar to the highest point with my PSCD, and I've actually broken the system because of it. I was on the phone with Social Security updating my info, Nathan's info, and my daughter's info. I came out, she was in a poopy diaper. I asked him to change her diaper, for him being, the grown father he should have been. And, well, it ended up where I came out again. I had to turn off the system the first time. Second time I came out, I had to turn off the TV. Then the third time I came out, I just unplugged the console. So while I was on the phone with Social Security, I had contacted Richard John Michael Myers, a.k.a. Chaka, to come change my daughter's diaper. Well, he showed up. I came back out. I was on the phone. Not even that. Not in a couple minutes later, I got a phone call from DHS right after I got the phone with Social Security. Well, by the time I come back out, he's got plugged in. She's still in a poopy diaper. So she's taking the risk of getting a diaper rash. Actually, that's what we were proven for one of those things, but that's not the point. The point is, he was so busy playing his video games, he thought video games were more important than changing his daughter's diaper. So, the fact of the point is that as soon as Chaka knocked on the door, and I opened it up, he's like, I'm going to change my daughter's diaper. Well, no. Chaka is going to change my daughter's diaper. It ended up where I took the cords to the back of his console and hit his cords on him, telling him he's grounded from playing the PlayStation 3. And if I find out he's playing it again until the recommended time that I gave him, because I told him he's grounded for a month, I was going to treat him like a child. He's going to act like a child, And he's like looking around the house when I'm not home, finding out he found the cords. I came home to him playing on the console. This was after our daughter was taken. And I had took a fucking sledgehammer to his fucking PlayStation 3. I am not the type of person to fuck over or fuck with, because I didn't want a special station, but at the same time, I had to. I cracked the top hand of his PlayStation 3, so because of that, he went and traded it in, because we were backed up on rent. Because he had stupidly not paid his portion, because his mom was his payee/guardian. Oh, that's another thing I gotta bring up. His mother applied for guardian ad litem, where Barbara and his mom, that's his aunt, and his mom, Tammy, had applied. And then I asked her, why did you apply? Oh, because it's financial issue, because he racked up credit cards to get baby stuff, because his mother wasn't going to help us. No, I found out the truth. It was because he had a daughter. Because he had a kid. Because she didn't think that he can grow up and be a father and be acknowledged as growing up. I went off on her. I was with Nathan from March 6th of 2013 until April 26th of 2016. I had left Nathan because he left me for Gina McKee. Well, Gina Johnson, what do you want to call her now? I had asked his guardian to file for an invalid marriage. Nathan claimed up and down the sun that we were not married. I had to show the guardian proof of documents. It ended up where, yes, an invalid marriage was filed, but he spelled my name incorrectly as Crystalline, not Crystalline. So I had to fix that later down the road. I was single from April until mid-November. I had gotten with, of 2016, I had gotten with Griffin Orion Chowska. Be honest, yeah, I was in love, but I didn't see through the fact of how he was. And it ended up where I accidentally gotten pressured to the highest point, and he gave me vodka and tequila, and I told him that how that works with me. I can't do tequila because I punch people in high tolerance, and then vodka, I black out. So anything between then and then, I don't remember. Pulls it had 6 people pulling me off Griffin because I found out he cheated on me with some other chick, and he kind of oversmoked the majority of the weed. And he went off on me how I was cheating when I was loyal to the bone. Creepy thought. Usually I'm never loyal to the bone. And I had took him with one arm against the wall by his throat, about 3 or 4 inches off the ground, up against the wall with a pocket knife not opened, but up against his other side with my other hand. I had literally 6 people bust down the door, pull me off Griffin, and Griffin left that night because I told him I cannot be around him because of what happened. Well, a week later, we got back together because finding out I was knocked up with Griffin's kid, and we don't know if it was Griffin's or Christopher's. So, because we broke up, I'm gonna be single. I'm gonna go do some random and stupid shit, Well, it ended up where I got knocked up. I don't know who I was pregnant with at the time. So Michaela, we don't know who she belongs to. I did miscarry her a couple months later due to an influence of smoking and drinking whiskey. I am not proud of myself because of this. We got back together, and it ended up where I shoved Griffin at the C-Trans 4 bus when they did have a number 4. I shoved him, and he shoved me. I slipped and fell because of the ice by Eagle Point Apartments here on Fort Plain in Vancouver, Clark County, and I had scraped my head on Eagle Point's apartment's fence line. I yelled at him. I told him to go. I told him to leave. I went back to my uncle's that night. I told Ron what happened. He told me I should call the cops. I never, ever called the cops. I don't believe in calling the cops unless something physically had put someone in the hospital or someone was trying to murder someone or threatening to murder someone. You know where I'm going with this. But I never called the cops. I told Griffin we were done. Seriously, we were fully done. I had grabbed his stuff and put it into a bag. That following next week, I had dropped it off at Evan's place. That is one of his old friends. We would hang out off and on, me, Chris, him probably as Waldo. I asked Waldo if there's anyone out there that's single, blah, blah, blah. He said he'll look around and see who he can find. He was dating some chick from Spokane that ended up poorly for him because he was dating 2 different women in Spokane. So I opened my fucking mouth and told everyone about it. Told both chicks, find out one was actually a street sister and the other one he was actually dating. Everyone was just a fuck buddy finding out as a street sister. But the fact of the point is he had got jumped. He had all his shit stolen. I felt bad because he had $200 stolen from him. I did pay Waldo some of the money back that was stolen that technically I didn't have to, but I was a giving person. I didn't really care about money. It's already evil to die. That's the way I look at it. And then, Waldo never found me someone to date. So I went and looked for myself. Well, my so-called best friend from high school, Gina Marie Johnson, was dating Daniel Dudley. She said she was in a domestic violence relationship. I had brought up the factor that, okay, well, let me see what I could do. Well, I still had in contact with my ex-husband. Technically invalid marriage. What do you want to pit it with Nathan? So I told her, I know someone that's single. Do you want him? You can have him. Oh, at the same time, I kind of screwed Waldo in the bed because he slept in the bed with me at Nathan's place, and I got kicked out. So I introduced Nathan to Gina, and Dudley went off on, well, she's going to be with him. I need someone to date. I said, fine. So I vouched and offered myself up to Daniel Dudley. Big mistake. He was under the influence of meth. He was in Oxford housing on May Street here on St. John's in Minnehaha. I thought he was going to quit the drugs, but he didn't. It ended up where I was messaging people one night, and we were dating God for 6 months. I had cheated on him with Griffin. So I was literally knocked up with Griffin. I had miscarried, and it was in the toilet. I had taken it out of the toilet. Heartbeat. I was in my hands, alive, living human being with the heartbeat still going, and I fucking flipped. I lost my shit. I was traumatized to the highest point. I was shaking. I had to bury my kid on the property there because I was roughly 12 weeks, so I could have found out the ginger. It was a boy, but that's not the point. His grave is actually put up there on Evergreen Memorial. The sad part is I miscarried, and I'm traumatized by that pregnancy because I had to get my kid out of a toilet. Well, back to what I was saying, I was messaging Spartan, Chaka, Waldo, Griffin, and they had messaged Howard. And that's the funny part where this goes. Well, they all showed up, my knight shining armors. That's the way I'm going to put it because that's practically what it feels like. I had my ex that, I accidentally hurt. I had my ex from high school. I had a best friend from my childhood. I had another best friend from my childhood and someone I didn't even freaking know. Didn't find out. I did know him because of probation, but that's not the point. Well, they came. By the time they showed up, totally had me up against the throat, up against the wall, trying to kill me. They had to pull him off. Finding out one showed up with a baseball bat with barbed wire wrapped around it. One had a stick with the same thing. Howard had his skateboard. Waldo had his bike. And Chaka had his skateboard. They were coming to fucking beat his ass. It ended up where, until he did get his ass whipped, and I grabbed majority of my stuff, what I could, and then I left. Then find out that he let Gina go through my shit and take whatever she wanted. I had 30 days to get my stuff. So I had to fight Gina to get my shit back. Not physically, but mentally. Go off on her how she can't take my crap because I had 30 days. Well, that $300 got taken. My payee at the time duly wanted me to move back in. So I did move back in a couple months later, but it ended up where my payee wanted $300. I'm like, I don't think my pay is going to do it because you kicked me out in the middle of the month last month. And it ended up where my payee said no. So he kicked me out and told me, get the fuck away, you're crazy, blah, 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 that type of shit. So I did. I left. I never came back. I did message him a couple times, and then it ended up where I blocked him on Facebook. So I was single for the 6 months, stranded, and then coming to find out, I wasn't really single because Waldo was claiming he was dating me. I told him the only thing I asked him to do, everyone had the chance to ask me out, Griffin, Waldo, and Howard. I told everyone has until 9:30 p.m. on that day to ask me out. And this was June? No, it was a month before June. It was May of 2017. I said everyone has until 9:30 to ask me out. Well, I lost track of time. It was 11 o'clock at night, but we were roaming around on fourth plane. I'm like, oh shit, it's a couple hours after. Oh well, turned around, looked at Griffin, and looked at Waldo, and looked at Howard. Howard was to my right, Griffin was to my mid-right in front of me, and Waldo was to my left in front of me. I said, okay, who wants to ask me out? I was curious who's going to admit to if they want to be with me or not. Well, Griffin goes, well, I'll never date you again or get back with you because of how you are. What happened to us, we're mentally unstable and we're not suitable and we're not compatible. I said, thank you for being honest with me because I want to get back with you either after what you did to me. I lived through hell and back. You left me multiple times on the streets. Thank you for being honest with me, though. What about you, Waldo? Waldo gets quiet. He goes, I thought we were already dating. I'm like, since fucking when? Since I put the fucking ring on you. I'm like, you said it was a promise ring. Yeah, promise ring. That we could be together and build up our friendship bondmanship. I'm like, that's not how it works. My Facebook says single. All I asked him to do was to change his Facebook status. I didn't care if he went around not telling people we were together. I asked him to change his Facebook status. He refused to do so. I said, okay, well, you have the option. Change your Facebook status, or you can go be single. My biggest mistake was letting him go be single because it ended up where now he's dead. He went back to the meth after all that went down. So I turned around and looked at Howard. I said, Howard, so what do you got to fuck say? Because I was literally miffed. I was pissed off because I was trying to get with that person for years. And I ended up finding out those 6 months I was supposedly single. I was not single. It really irritated the crap out of me. So Howard says, well, I guess I could tell my mom we're dead. I guess I could tell her you're my girlfriend. I guess I could bring you home. He was guessing himself. My biggest mistake is not thinking that through. I just wanted one place to stay, so because of that, I was not really all there. I was senile, to be honest. Not physically, but mentally. And I was blindsided by fake love. Yeah, it ended up where that ended really quickly. So we went home, back to his place. He carried my bag. I asked him if he could because my back was fucking killing me. We went there. He said, "This is my mom." Opens the door. This is my girlfriend. She's gonna stay here with me. Is that okay, Mom? How long you been together? He fucking lied. He said we were together for 3 months. No, we just got together that day. That's the truth. We just got on that day. Well, we didn't have sexual contact physically until his birthday on June 29th of 2017 when he turned 18. So technically I had consent from his mother to date him, and we didn't have physical sex until the 29th of June. It was so hard for me because you know how hard it is not to have sex with someone when you have a sexual addiction. Well, we were together from May, I think it was May 7th of 2017, because it's actually, there's a tattoo on his arm with my initials with a heart with actually with the day and the month and the year we got together. And I noticed that he still hasn't got that fixed, but that's not the point. Majority of the tattoos I had him and I paid for, but that's not the point. I had gotten married to him on the 11th of the first month of 2018. AJ Harner, or Alexander, what do you want to call him, and Angelina Kessrell were our witnesses to my second marriage. And we were living at Monica's. By the way, Monica Larson is a fucking two-faced fucking liar. She took 650 out of us, tried to kick us out that following next month because I got knocked up. Within the 2 weeks of my marriage, when me and Howard got kicked out of Monica's, he had ditched me for the 2 weeks in February. So I took off. I don't know if Lily belongs to him. I don't know if she belongs to Tony, Spartan, Watto, or Howard. To be honest, I did have a fling. I did have an affair. I ain't gonna lie about that shit. Because lying gets me nowhere. Telling the truth gets me nowhere because no one can handle it. I got back with him and I got knocked up. According to his mother, I screwed Watto. We have no memory of that. And I do remember waking from one side of the room to the other side of the room next to Watto. But that ain't the point. I don't know who Liliana belongs to. According to Howard, he's been swabbed and she ain't his. But she's backed up on child support, so it's definitely got to be his. If he really wants to know, he should get a swab done. That's the way I look at it. You know, it's the whole point of life. We were together until I had Lily on the 1st November of 2018. He yelled at me the day before my C-section that I had. I did get my tubes fixed. I did have my tubes fully decapitated and removed. I do still have my ovaries. So I had a C-section with being fixed. I kind of regret that, but at the same time, I really don't, because I don't want to deal with CPS ever again, because they're two-faced liars. CPS did get involved when my daughter was born. They did show up because my mother and 6 others, including my grandmother and Tanya, had called CPS on my ass to make sure the kid wouldn't go home with me. Well, that's the thing. She did go home with me. Tanya did have non-parental custody. She still does, by the way. My daughter is going to be I think she's turning on 3. I don't know off the top of my head. I'm tired right now. There's a lot to take in and a lot to say. December 17th of 2018, I had filed a protection order because on November 7th of 2018, I was listening to my music. I was drawing in my sketchbook. Howard had come through the door. You know, I usually would let him go roll him around and ride his skateboard because I was annoyed by him. He was really fucking aggressive, very abusive. There's a lot of YouTube videos on here about him. Physically videotapes of him hitting me when I was 5 months pregnant. You know, the times where he's telling me who I can and can't talk to. It was a lot of verbal abuse on his side, a lot of verbal abuse on my side, but mine was mainly defense because I'm not acting pity here or acting like I'm the victim. You know, me and him did butt heads. We were not compatible, mainly because of our zodiacs, but that's not the point. Howard had pulled my headphones out and started yelling at me. Is Lily not even mine? Who's this guy named Tony? He officially had heard from someone that Liliana might not be his. I said, what the I'm like, you left me within 2 weeks of my marriage. He goes off on me. So fucking what? I'm like, what the fuck do you think I was going to do? And he went off on me and he shoved me. I was between a wall, 2 wash machines, and a wall behind me. So the only way out was between the chair and Howard. I got up. Howard shoved me. I got up. Howard pushed me back into the chair. I got up, started hitting him because I was sick and tired of being pushed, yelled at. Because I had found out I had PSTD. I actually had a blackout. He went off on me. Well, I'm gonna fucking rape I'm gonna fucking molest your child, blah, blah, blah. I'm like, you're gonna practically rape my daughter. Is that what you're saying? Yeah. Last thing I remember is hearing him say, yeah. Last thing I remember, Howard was upstairs, but last thing I remember, he was at the bottom of the basement stairs. I had supposedly, he was looking like he was really shocked. I don't remember anything between that action to that action. Supposedly, he said, I was Superwoman. I came out. I was at the top of the stairs, seeing him at the bottom of the stairwell. Well, I flipped. I went, nope. Oh, hell no. Because I became self-conscious right after I noticed you at the bottom of the stairs. I knew I did something that I really fucked up on. So I grabbed all my sketchbooks. I told him, I'm done. I can't do this anymore because I've actually had a blackout. And I become conscious of it at the end, you know, when the person was almost hurt. Well, I did find out he fractured his wrist and his upper side of his rib. But that ain't the point. The point is, I had a blackout and then I became self-conscious afterwards, knowing that he was at the bottom of the basement stairs. Supposedly, according to him, I had picked him up by his shoulders of the shirt line and walked over a couple steps and threw him down a set of stairs. I have no memory of that. They did do an MRI and a whole bunch of fucking backtracks on my medical, and finding out that I have traumatization since I was 12. I do have blackouts to PSTD, being pressured to the highest point. My body supposedly goes into a self-defense mechanism, and then I don't like being touched to the highest point, where it ends up where I argue verbal attack, and then it ends up where I hurt someone. So I'm actually kind of really afraid to get close to anyone because of my actions and the things that's happened in my past, because I'm afraid I'm going to hurt someone and I'm going to end up in jail or prison, some type of mental institution or something. A mental institution won't even fucking take me, so I actually offered myself to them. They told me no. But I grabbed my stuff, grabbed my phones, grabbed my chargers, grabbed my books, my sketchbooks, some of my paperwork, some of my clothes. I left my rings. Yeah, I left my rings. I didn't take my rings with me. It was a sign that I was done. I grabbed my medication that I was taking that was prescription-wise. Yeah, it drove me to the point where I started to take prescriptions again. I had walked up the stairs. He had chased me down 4th Plane on Grand, yelling at the top of his lungs, don't leave me, blah, blah, blah. I don't want to stay with you. I said, Howard, I can't do this. I hurt you. I threw you down a set of stairs. I have no memory of that. I had gone off to an old best friend's, Maxwell Moreland, to stay with his mom and him. And I left, and I filed a protection order. It did go through because I used the case number when he assaulted me. I can legally still press charges within 5 years, but I didn't press charges because I don't believe putting a man in fucking jail. He didn't deserve that at the age he was at. I was gonna be like my mother that put me in fucking juvenile detention center for all those years. I didn't need him being a criminal baby. We'll find out he still is a criminal baby. He got way many more charges after we left each other. And when I got Max kept claiming I was pregnant. Max kept saying that I was insane, But his own insanity, he was claiming I was a werewolf, vampire, whatever, alien, not from this planet Earth. He was mentally ill himself. How did me and Max break up the first time? Because I was madly in love with Waldo. I've always been in love with Waldo since 2015. I don't like telling people this because people look at me weird as a complete stalker, but stalkers do come in handy because they know everything about you. That's one reason why Waldo kept talking to me, and he kept telling everyone, "Oh, talk to her." No, he did. I have proof. I have snapshots. People want to see it. I'll be more than glad to show it. People probably think I'm just rambling and jelling, but I'm explaining practically what's happened from 2012 until now. Well, I filed a divorce. A DV divorce with kids. Mid-March of 2019. His mother wanted me to wait until like April until she got filed for tax. She wanted to file a divorce. No, legally you have to file with kids. If you do not, it's a federal offense classified C, A, and B. Because if you file without children, yeah, you can legally go to jail for that. For lying that you don't have kids when we had kids. Or Howard's going around saying we were never fucking married. That we never got married. That I'm fucking crazy out of my mind. Well, we showed up at the day center. Max had served him his documents. He was dating some chick named Jennifer. I don't know her last name, but I know she's bigger than Oompa Loompa. Goddamn. Who the hell? He downgraded. Hotter than fuck. Yeah, but fatter than shit. She has no balls. She didn't want to face me. He was going around saying, "I'm not married," Gave him the fucking divorce document. Max gave that to him. I said I was just there to serve him his paperwork. Fuck! Because all he says, fuck! The bitch is fucking divorcing me! Jennifer goes off him. You're fucking married to her? That crazy bitch is the way she put it. You fucking lied. Not even a couple weeks later, they broke up. I show up in court. And the first court date, he was a little kind of an asshole. I think it was April 12th, April 17th, somewhere around there, of 2019. I was hanging with Waldo because Max broke up with me. Again, this time he left me because of Dottie's sucking insanity. And I was camping with Waldo underneath the tarp underneath Burbridge Creek area there by the Mushroom Bridge because someone literally had painted a fucking mushroom on the small bridge there on Phlox Road area by the Burnt Bridge Creek Trail. Howard stopped. Emily stopped by. Emily had found us. That's my sister-in-law, technically ex-sister-in-law. And she told Howard where the fuck we were at. Howard brought me my childhood blanket. He offered us pizza. Didn't know I was being tested by Waldo. Big mistake, though. I kissed him. I had made out with him. I'm confessing to what happened. I told Howard that we could try to work it out. I could easily get rid of the divorce, the protection order, blah, blah, blah. Well, not realizing Waldo was testing me that day. And my biggest regret, I should have been more smarter than the gun, but I was an idiot. I was stupid. I was dumb. Young, dumb, full of cum, I hate admitting to that shit. But the next following day, he had shown up. I had told Howard that following next morning, because he stopped by with pizza, I told Howard I don't want anything to do with you. So he left, came back. I told Waldo I'm going to go to Walmart, get some food. What do you want? I went and got chips and dip and some candy. Candy addiction. I will admit to that too. I came back. Cops were on the trail. Howard had rode his bike past me while he was walking down the trail and went to start talking to the cop being a fucking idiot. I wasn't really gonna snitch that I had a protection order against him. I wasn't the one to open my fucking mouth. Waldo's like, do you want me to open my mouth for something? I'm like, I don't care. It's your choice. I ain't gonna say shit because I don't believe him going to jail. Well, we get up there, we get everything packed, everything packed up. Waldo goes, dude, get the hell out of here. Bro, you need to fucking leave. Dude, you're not supposed to be here. You're not supposed to be around her. Cop says, sir, technically he has every right to be here just like you. Actually, the fuck he does not. He's not supposed to be around her. She has a fucking protection order against him. That's her soon-to-be ex-fucking husband. The words came out of Waldo's mouth that day really bothered me because I wasn't going to say anything. I was going to be a fucking snitch. Waldo opened his mouth, so Waldo had to write a statement as, a.k.a. Christopher Donald Sean Wad, and I had to write a statement. Howard's locked the fucking arrested him. You're under arrest, sir? He's all in the back of the car, freaking the fuck out, being paranoid. I couldn't remember the case number at the time because my phone was dead. At the same time, I didn't remember the case number because it was somewhat new. I don't remember shit right off the bat at the top of my head. So she made a random case number finding out. I had to go to court that next following morning. Waldo had ditched me on the trail, so going back to Max. I had to go in front of the court explaining to what was going on. Then that was a pre-trial finding out. For some reason, they made a separate domestic violence case number. Howard had a lawyer. Howard lied to his lawyer. He told his lawyer that there is no divorce. There is no protection order. He was trying to get a no contact order against me. Well, the courts bring up that you have anything to say, Ms. Clark? I said, yeah, I have two things to say. His lawyer is claiming there's no protection order, no divorce. No, there's a protection order temporary order that was placed on the 17th of December 2018 and is actually physically now permanent. And divorce I filed, and we're in the middle of still doing a divorce. And the judge looks at Howard and says, is that true, sir? Well, yeah, I thought she canceled it. I thought she got rid of it. You're an idiot. The lawyer says specifically, I don't know how much longer I can work with this client. He actually had resigned from his client a couple months later, as soon as the divorce went through. Howard was in jail over the weekend. He didn't get released until mid-Tuesday. I was fucking paranoid because I was on the trails, okay? I was homeless. I was homeless for 4 years, 8 months because of all this shit. And me and Max were, dating again. Me and Max did break up because of bullshit drama. Max had ditched me on the trail over some kind of bullshit posy for my face. You're manly and wild. Maybe get with him. Maybe you'll be happier with him. He had taken off on me. I'm like, you fucking kidding me? So I dated Tyler Womack. Big mistake. I didn't really regret it, but at the same time I did. I was in love. Yes, I was an idiot. I had broken up with Tyler, got back with Max. I had gone to the hospital because finding out there was heroin and cocaine in my system. There was a needle stuck in my side of my leg. A rape kit was done just because of the drugs that were in my body because I was supposedly in an influence. I don't remember even doing any of that because last I checked, I don't do hardcore drugs. I've done shrooms. That's the only hardcore thing I can think of that's illegal. But I've never done heroin or cocaine. They found that in my system on a drug test. Found a needle syringe broken off in the side of my leg. So the first thing goes through my head, Tyler put drugs in my system or Misty. I don't know. I'm not accusing anyone, but I'm just saying because that's the last two people I was around. Mumbles even conformed. It looked like I was on fucking heroin. All right, we ran into him walking up towards the hospital. I had gotten to the hospital in Southwest. They did all that, blah, blah, blah. Well, it wasn't the chart. There was enough evidence to conceive him, so that was dropped. Tyler couldn't fucking leave me alone, and I told him that, hey, you just need to leave me alone. We're just going to be friends. If you don't want to be friends, I totally understand. Or he threatened me, specifically stating, as long as you're with Max, because I can't have you, no one can. He practically had told me, I'm gonna fucking find you, kill you, make sure no one can fucking have you. And I asked him, is that a threat? He's like, that's a fucking promise. I'm like, oh god. So we had to call the cops. I had to give them all the snapshots. There was an order put down for me against him, a no contact order I had placed on him because of the threat of him trying to say he's gonna kill me because he, how people are. I can't have you, no one can, type of shit. Remark. That expires in May of this year, but yeah. I had broken up with Max. I had left Max because of Dottie threatened me with a fucking hammer. She threatened to beat me, practically hit me in the head with a hammer. I said, let's go, bitch. I got 2 pocket knives. I was not in the mood to fucking deal with her. I had grabbed my shit. I was asking people, being smart, going around asking people, hey, where can I go, blah, blah, blah. Me and Elliot Collins did date again for a week. That ended quickly because his aunt found out. So we will never get back together after what happened. There's a book that he stole from me that I actually had to redo because I had to publish it in 2000, and the fact is it was already published beforehand. So Divinity Art removed all the book parts that he stole from me. We broke up because of that, and other reasons. He goes around saying I stole his book, but that's not truth because it was published a long time ago in 2000. So technically, there's no fucking way. Divinity Art removed all that. He supposedly made a new Divinity Art, finding out because we talked recently this year, but we stopped talking because I went off on how this ain't gonna work. I can't do this, blah blah blah, because I'm technically with William. Funny story how that comes down. Well, Dozer, Richard Robinson, had taken me in. I am living at Del Terrence. I am keeping to myself. I was a fuck buddy with Dozer. I don't like admitting to that shit. I was a fuck buddy with Brendan Larkin. I don't regret that because he's a cool laid back guy. Me and Brendan Larkin did cosplay role plays for sexual cosplay itself, and that's the only person I've done cosplay for sexual roles, and that's the only person I'm gonna do because that's something me and him shared. I'm not gonna share that with anyone else. I'm sorry to say. Well, I was single, and his roommate William David Abels would come out of the room, and then as soon as he gets his food, he goes back in his room. I'm like, so I started checking him out, and it ended up where me and William got together. I moved my stuff into William's room. As soon as Dozer came home, he came over knocking on Will's door saying, blah, 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 what's going on? I said, me and William started dating. How did me and William get together? Funny story, it was a weekend. It was on Sunday. And I saw the Wi-Fi username. I'm like, who the fuck's Tasman's? Tasman 16 Abels. Oh, that's my Wi-Fi. I'm like, wait, are you saying your last name's Abels? Are you related to Alex Abels? He's like, yeah, that's my cousin. I'm like, oh, godly. What am I getting myself into? I said, you know what? Fuck it. You want to date me? He's like, sure. That's how we got together. Finding out that he's related to my ex from 2015 that I dated for 2 days. Don't regret it, but we're still together, me and William. But, well, Richard was supposed to have John here. He was under the counter, and Richard got kicked out because he had someone here that wasn't supposed to be here. He lied to the landlord. The landlord had kicked Richard out. Richard tried to take everything that was not his. I had to move everything that was William's into the room so Dozer wouldn't steal it. Actually, we're still missing a pot from, we're missing a lid from one of our pots. That finding out Richard actually had when he moved back into Allison's down here in apartments in apartment 12. Actually, scary thought. Well, it ended up where me and William had broken up quite a few times, at least 30 times since we've been together. We got together May 12th of 2019. Yes, I was with someone in the middle of my divorce. I wasn't physically divorced until July 26th of 2019. I was not having an affair, but technically in the way it was to the state's eyes. But the fact of the point is, I wasn't with Howard. Howard wasn't with me. Howard did date Kay and Kimberly Cock. Big funny story behind that. Oh, they're ugly. They're disgusting. I'll never date that. He did. He dated them. He dated them both. He lied to him out of his fucking ass. But, let's see. When me and William have broken up to 30 times, back to that, I did date Anthony Richard Bassasar, that's aka for Tony. We broke up because he assaulted me. I never called the cops. I never pressed charges. I did file for a protection order, but I didn't show up in court because I didn't want to deal with it. And that they spelled his name incorrectly. But that got dropped, so there's no order between me and him. We stopped talking somewhere between August of last year. There was one time where I dated, Max got the idea that we were dating again because we had him stay here. I had to kick him out because he was living at the counter. He was going to move in, but he didn't apply. So I kicked him out because he had the ideal that we were dating. I was dating William. All right. And not even the following week, me and Will broke up again because his sister's stupid smack talk. Alana. Drama Alana. Okay, she's bad, man. She's bad news. She's a nice lady, but she's bad news. She'll screw up your fucking life. She tried getting rid of me multiple fucking times. That's why William broke up multiple times because of fucking his sister. Or other people trying to manipulate me thinking I should leave him. I did cheat on him with Chaka, Tony, and Max, and Zyler Olsen. I'm sorry, Zyler, I had to put you in this, but it's the truth. Officially, me and him are still together with me and William. I've been living here since April 2019, on a lease since June of 2019. I still have legal rights to my daughter, Liliana Elza Clark, that's with Tanya Woodruff Clark. That is my ex-mother-in-law, the crazy fuck, let's put it that way. Oh, if there's children listening to it that are technically claiming to be over age, they're idiots because you can't complain because you put yourself down as a false profile. So, just heads up. But no, let's see. I did try to file a protection order against my mother for her allowing my so-called dad, because I found out my dad that raised me is not my father. Kevin Howard Bishop is not my bio. When I found that out, and I found out he was technically my cousin, that is so disgusting. I found out he's my cousin through my mother, because my mom's mom, Carolyn, is related to Betty, and Betty Pritchett is technically Betty Bishop. That's married to Daryl Bishop. So my mom is practically my mother / third cousin, my so-called dad that raised me. That's technically my half-sister Katana's dad. That is my half-sister. They're related. So that would make my sister a cousin as well. You know, it's very disturbing and very disgusting. I don't believe in the fucking family incest. It's disgusting. And this following year, I had found out that Bill William Kokenhauer was my birth father. My mother was still married to her first husband until I was 3. It's kind of obvious who the fuck my dad is. I found that out, and I went off on my mother. I went off on her like Kim and Kong from Hell and Back. Okay, I went off her how she's just a disgrace. She's disgusted. She did admit to calling CPS on me. She did admit calling the cops on me. She did tell me that she called a CPS on me on my first daughter, my third daughter. That technically is not my third daughter. She's my 6th pregnancy. But so I rubbed it in her face. I told her Charlotte's not my first daughter. That Destiny in 2010, my pregnancy then, that I adopted her out through Idaho ancient seas. I had given her up at birth so my mom wouldn't find out when I was 16, because I fucking got kicked out when I was 16. I told my mom I was pregnant. So I left to Idaho. I went to Uncle Jerry's. I read it in my mom's face. Charlotte's not your oldest granddaughter. What the fuck are you trying to tell? I'm like, I told her that Destiny Marie. I'm not saying her last name because no one needs to know, because her father definitely doesn't need to know. And her father is Wesley Ultridge. He left me because he didn't think I was pregnant. I left that shit on his mom's door real quick. And I left town right after that. But no, I read in my mom's face that she has an older daughter out there, you know. She fucking went off on me. She was pissed. How I was stupid this, dumb shit this, bullshit, ridiculous crap this. You aren't my fucking daughter shit crap this. I'm like, dude, shut up. I might sound like I'm complaining, but damn. So I ended up where I had my mom on my Facebook, I had my stepdad on my Facebook, I had my stepsister on my Facebook. Almost got Katon on my Facebook, but I ended quickly. Okay. Anyone that knows what Coin Master is, that is a app that where you can attack people's villages, collect coins spending wise, and level up on your village. My stepdad and my mother, well, first, my mom called me up, stop attacking my village. You know, friends and family members don't attack people's villages. They're definitely not family. I'm like, the whole point of the game is a strategy game that build up, level up, and attack villages. So you can level up. She would off on me how I was attacking her village, how it's hard enough to get coins, and how she has to keep fixing her village because I would attack it. And she went off on me how I was constantly attacking her village. I didn't have a lot of friends on Facebook that played Coin Master, so it's just going to give me the option who I can attack and who I can't attack. She went off on me like a childish person. Okay, when I was a kid, I would get frustrated with video games, like puzzle games, mainly puzzle games. I hated puzzle games. I still do. Because I have Bipolar Trigger by Zelda. Okay, that's a good one. I don't like strategy or puzzle games. I like racing, fighting, combat, adventure games with a storyline behind it or some kind of story, or some kind of program goal, successful career, She goes off on me. So she told me, games could be easy or hard. The whole point of the game, if it's a strategy game, yeah, it's going to be hard. If it's an adventure game, it depends on the game. If it's easy or hard. Sometimes games are harder. Sometimes games are easy. That's the whole point of the video game. That's how shit in life goes. So I pulled a fast one on her. When I was a kid, that's what she would tell me. That games can be good, hard or easy. They're not always easy or hard to play, but that's the whole point of a video game. So I pulled the fast shit on her. I told her, okay, you want to bitch at me about this strategy puzzle game. I'm going to tell you what you told me when I was 16. Sometimes games can be easy. Sometimes games can be hard. That's the whole point of the game. If it's a strategy game, puzzle game, or some kind of combat kind of game, yeah, it's going to be harder to level up. That's the whole point of a video game. You're acting like a childish little bitch. You need to grow the fuck up. You are a 40-year-old growing adult. Oh, it gets even fucking better because I hang up on her because I was done. I had blocked her on Facebook. I had blocked her phone number. Not even fucking 45 minutes later, my stepdad calls me. Goes off on me about the same exact shit. How, you need to stop being mean to your mother and stop being rude to her. I'm like, she had a tantrum. A fucking tantrum when she's a 40-year-old grown-ass woman. He's like, well, you need to stop talking my village. I'm like, are you fucking kidding me? You are almost 50. You're in your fucking 50s and you're having a tantrum of a fucking coin game? God damn, I didn't take you as a childish person, Michael. Michael Kevin Riley is my stepdad. Married to my crazy mother. Roberta. Or Robbie, what anyone to call her. But no, he had a fucking fit over it. I said, you know what? I don't have any time to deal with you either. Because you're going to act childish too. I don't have time for that shit. I have better things to do than deal with fucking childish people. So I blocked him on Facebook. I blocked his phone number. So the only time they can get a hold of me, I would call them. Well, it ended up where I finally cut them out of my life on July 7th of 2000. And I think it was 2020. Yeah, 2020. Because I was officially done. I was going through a hard time on February on the second week of a weekend on Sunday. I had lost my best friend Spartan. That is Eric Lesby or Timothy Honjo. I was going through a very hard time. I had gotten a phone call from his adopted mom that he had passed away. And adopted family and birth family, and I was there. We only got to meet him. But I was there on Saturday. I promised to come Sunday. He had really yanked his dialysis out of his chest, the tube that would actually keep him alive. He had ripped it out. He was claiming Lily was his. He was claiming I was his wife. I just let it slide because he was starting to lose his mind because he was dying. He went to sleep and didn't wake up the next following morning on church day, and I didn't go to church. I got the phone call and my body gave out. I dropped down in the kitchen. I lost short of breath. I couldn't speak, and I'm still having a hard time with that. Because of the fact that I talked to Pam, his adopted mom, but I don't talk to anyone else. And I told everyone about how he passed away. I contacted Hatchet, that's Brian. I contacted Nick. I contacted Waldo and Griffin and Max. Everyone was saddened by him passing. Waldo was off and on coming here to get away from Jasmine because of her aggressiveness, her craziness. I would let him come here and I would help him out with the supplies, and it's been a really hard year since last year because September 26th of 2020, there was a fire at Motel 6. Posey Jasmine left around 1:30 in the morning. Then a couple of minutes later, fire went down. Waddle had died in the fire. He goes by Christopher Donald Shawnwald. No one really knows him by his real name. They just know him by Waldo. And I had gotten a call from, his sister. I didn't even know if she was his sister. I had to confirm that with his mother. Me and his mom still talk. That's Kathy, by the way. And I was told by his mom, yeah, he passed away. His mom's coming down to Clark County to identify his body, and it found out it was him. I was recently told about how it was homicidal, suicide / something, but they're still investigating that. According to what I've been told by his mom. I promised Waldo that I would not beat her ass. Jasmine Hamilton is not related to me. She is not my sister at all. She's not blood related to me. It ended up where I don't talk to a lot of people. I went through a phase. I don't have a lot of friends because I pushed a lot of them away, even if they were fake or true friends. I was going through a very, very dark path, very emotional path indeed. I talked to Goggles, aka Maxwell. I still talk to him once in a while. I still talk to Zyler. Chaka and me don't talk to each other anymore because of complications of him lying about his record of being a pedophile. But that's technically not supposed to be in this, but I'm gonna say it because I'm not gonna fucking lie about shit. I'm gonna be straightforward. What the hell's going on? I have hit William with a shoe. Sandal, what do you want to call it? William has hit me, and I have hit him. Everyone keeps telling me that he's gonna kill me or blah blah blah. You know, my ex Max keeps telling me that. Or keeps telling me to get away from him. Well, I'm not leaving him. I'm not giving up my housing to go back on the streets. You know, people out there want to whip my fucking ass because of Howard going around and say I owe the money because he's claiming I'm still his fucking wife because he's doped up on drugs. You know, but no, I'm still going through a hard time with losing Spartan and Waldo. As you can tell in my voice, I'm trying my hardest not to cry in this video. It's really hard to express myself. That's why I have my webcam covered up because I'm afraid to show my face because I am actually kind of crying in the video. I really don't like showing my face. I'm a very shy, outraged type of person. I'm still fighting for my daughter. I gotta make a court date to file for custody because I never abandoned her. I left Howard because of the abuse. If I could have taken my daughter at that time, I would have, but there was a non-parental custody case put in place, so I couldn't take her with me legally. I never neglected her because I never raised her, so technically there's no neglect. So I just gotta file for custody, see where it goes from there. The depending on what the hell happens, depending on what's going to go down. I got to get a piece of paperwork signed off by my physician that won't sign it, so I don't have to pay child support because I'm on disability for my disabilities through SSI. Let's see. I'm still living in the same place, still on a lease. I am on prescription medication. I am trying to lose weight. I'm 272 pounds and 8 ounces. I don't look it, but that's just practically because I look like I'm 100 pounds, but I'm not. But that's what I look like because all it is baby fat left over. Yeah. There's been arguing. There's been a whole bunch of bullshit with the sister. Zyler, Max, Kathy, and I can't remember that person's name. Still talks to me, but I don't have a lot of people on my Facebook. I have literally like 5 friends. There's Will, Kathy, Zyler, Andy Morris, my foster brother, I can't see his name, Daniel Lisk. That's actually usually always in and out of jail, so there's really no way getting a hold of him. So because he really never has a phone on him. I talk to Max once in a while, but that's just Max. He's having complications with Heather, claiming she's pregnant, but she won't get off her ass and do anything about it. But no, still living here, paying my rent, on the lease, trying to get my kid back, doing what I need to do. I am on prescriptions that are legal by a doctor's order. I was told I didn't have to go back on meds, but I went back on medication because I knew I needed it. I refused to see a counselor and therapist because they destroyed my relationships in the past. I'm going to see if I can get a tummy tuck done and back surgery on my scoliosis because I'm sick and tired of my back hurting. And right now I've been having an earache for almost a week now. But so far, so good. I've been living life. And there's not much more to say about that. I did renew the protection order between me and Howard, so that's renewed for another 2 years until 2022 of December 31st. I will be renewing Tyler's no contact order against Tyler as well because I don't need to take the risk of him coming after me or trying to kill me. Right now he's locked up in Oregon jail for breaking probation, but that's not the point. He's on probation in DOC for his drug and pedophilia. I haven't been to jail since 2010 for assault type 4 without prejudice. I had a schizophrenia moment where I freaked out with clumps of dirt on my legs. I had it attached to my grandmother. I have no memory of that, and I think that was actually practically maybe my 3rd or 4th blackout when I was a kid. I was kicked out. Cops didn't want to take me because my stepdad assaulted me. They were going to take him, and I threatened the cop to hit him. I told him, "You're taking me out of this crazy house." So I went straight to EP. I was in and out of assisted living every 3 to 6 months, and then I dated Corey. Again, that's where that goes from. Before that, I was in and out of juvenile detention center for runaway type 3, theft type 4, type 3. Mainly just for being a runaway and a thief. For being a candy bar thief, I stole candy bars. Okay, I'm a candy thief. I will admit to what I did when I was under 17. I was on probation for 2 years. I got another 2 years. If I did one more bad thing before I hit 18, I would have had that on my permanent record. Well, I didn't do anything stupid. Find out that my second ex-husband knew me when he was 9. He's the kid that took my candy bar and my Gatorade when I was at Silver Buckle. Didn't know that was the little fucker that took my candy. He didn't happen to tell me that until after we were married. I felt horrible, man. Bad enough that fucker tried getting a hold of me on Meet Me when I was 21. What the hell, dude? You're underage, you idiot. His mom tried to put false charges on me, and I had texts proving that when he said, I'm 16, and I'm like, well, why does your profile say you're like 21? He tried to put sexual charges on me. That didn't fucking end well. No, it fucking ended up where they went back to his mother and arrested him for false accusations. But when he was a kid in juvenile detention, I swear that kid has a record from juvenile detention. I don't even know what's on his juvie records because I never asked. I wasn't really nosy on Howard's life. I met his dad. His dad's cool and chilled and laid back. Just don't fuck him over. But yeah, he's a good guy. And what Tanya did to Elsa was a really bad issue. She made him a convicted felon. I'm not happy with Tanya because of that. Because she kicked Howard out when he was 18. Howard has broken into her house. He has a robbery charge for breaking into her house. And I think it's a felony C that it's charged with in a misdemeanor. But the fact of the point is, he broke into Tanya's house for just to take a shower. So there is a no contact order for Tanya against Howard. How many more things is Howard gonna do? I don't fucking know. He's trying to go around right now and ask people where the fuck I live. It's none of his goddamn business. I legally have a protection order against him. That is good until 2022 of December. I'm gonna continue to renew it because I'm scared of him. I did love him, and I do still love him, but I will never go back to him. And that's one thing he needs to understand. I won't go back because of the shit he put me through. Because the shit I put him through. We're not compatible. He's a Cancer, and I'm a Gemini Taurus. I'm a custom child because I'm on the 22nd of May. You know, it's... First time I got married, I was blind. You know how people say, you're blind by your love, and you are young and dumb, full of cum. Second marriage, I'm a little more guarded and more up and going. Get married, well, I'll take the chance and risk getting hurt. Ended up where I got hurt, and ended up where I hurt them, and ended up where I divorced them. I had to file that shit on my own, man. My mom didn't help me with that shit. Again, I haven't had any contact with my mother since the 7th of July of 2020. I still haven't in contact with him. I did call my stepdad, leave a voice message to wish my half-sister a happy birthday on the 11th of this year. But that's it. They can't call me back. I did search the service. I don't know my number. Yeah, I had to change my number because of how bad it got. But the back of the point is I've learned who my true friends, who my fake friends are. I have learned not to trust everyone. Like if someone says, oh, I love you, or I want to be with you. Okay, I mentioned the parts that are the good times, and I mentioned the bad times. If you're an ex, I'm not going back to you. There's one thing you need to understand. If you're my ex-husband, ex-fiance, or ex-boyfriend, or fuck buddy, like Richard, or Chaka, or Brendan Lark, I'm never going back to you. You guys need to understand that I had to learn to let go and move forward with my life in order to make myself more stable, more suitable. I ain't going back and doing a repeat of what I already lived through. Because repeating something and reliving it, I'm not going to be able to handle it physically. So again, exes out there, I'm not going back to you. You need to learn to let go and move forward. If you want to be friends, fine. But it doesn't mean I'm ever going to date you again. It's something that you need to understand right here and now. I'm straightforward on this shit. I'm not going to date you ever again. That's how life goes. You dated me, you hurt me, I hurt you. In this discussion, move the fuck on. Stop going around saying I'm your girlfriend or your fiance, your fucking wife. Fucking nutcases out there. Man, I'm nutty. But at least I fucking admit to that shit. You know, everyone's like, oh, you're ugly and I'm jealous and you're jelly and you're just, you know. You're just jealous because I have a relationship, or you're ugly because no one wants you. I might be ugly, but deep down, I have a kind side of me, and I'm beautiful from the inside out. I accept myself for who I am and how I am, and I'm learning that by meditating and doing medications, you know. I picked up the cigarettes and weed because of Waldo passing away. I went AWOL. I went down the really bad path, dark path. And yes, If I was a Jedi, I would possibly be a Sith of good and bad, persuasions of both sides. Practically, that is a great Jedi. Dude, I would be a badass Sith. I would be fucking tearing, ripping trees down. Everyone has their insecurities and everyone has their own flaws. Until you lived in my shoes or lived in what I had to deal with, being raped, 5 to 21 by the father that wasn't my father, until you lived through my shoes, don't judge someone. You should never compare or judge someone for who they are and how they are, because you never lived what they lived through. No one's better than anyone. You say, "Oh, I'm better." You make it sound like you're better than me. No one's better than anyone. No one's normal, and no one should judge anything or anyone for who they are. Everyone has their problems. Everyone has their insecurities, their own flaws. Everyone makes an excuse of some sort to get out of a situation. No one's perfect. No one is normal. Life is the way it is. Everyone's human. Humanity has gone to a crisis ever since COVID-19 started, but I'm negative for that. It's fucking having Q-tips stuck up my nose. That shit hurts. I'm never doing that shit again, man. That fucking shit fucked up my sinuses so bad. It's like funny. I actually came down sick because of how far they stuck those Q-tips up my nose. 15 minutes later, I was negative for that shit. But I had to get tested because Williams' work. Someone came out being positive. So he had to get tested and have Q-tips shoved up his ass, up his nose, blah, blah, blah. He had to go over here to Legacy Urgent Care just to get that done. But yeah, I'm negative for that. So hopefully I don't fucking get it. That's why I've been kind of like picky on who I hang out with or who I talk to, because of the fact of the COVID going around. We were in phase 1. We did go into phase 2. And me and Lynn were talking how they're going to go back in phase 1. Well, guess what? We're back in phase 1. We are here in Clark County, Vancouver, Washington. And yes, we're on the west side of Hazel Hill, or Hazeldale, whatever you want to call it, of Washington. And I don't know what else to say. Let's see. I have an older daughter named Destiny. I have 4 kids altogether. There's Destiny, Charlotte, Nathaniel, that goes by Wyatt. Destiny was adopted at straight up birth. Charlotte was adopted through CPS for a neglect, for a diaper rash, and neglectment for failing to take her to her place, because that was more important to him to see his family at the time. For Nathan, diaper rash because of the stupid video games. Again, I don't like Crazy Taxi. Williams tried to play it in front of me, and I almost broke his system. Okay, I threatened to fucking smash his system. But yeah, and then I have Liliana. We don't know who Lily belongs to. Let's see. All the pregnancies I've had. I had a pregnancy, a Destiny. I had a miscarriage. That would have been Corey Kane's. Actually, I found out I did have a miscarry. I don't want to admit to that, but I'm admitted to that. I had Charlotte. I had a miscarry. I had Nathaniel. Then I had a miscarry in 2017 and 2016. And then I got knocked up with Lily. I did go see a WGYN. I was on my prenatals, and I went back to... Well, I didn't go to WIC, but I was planning on it, but I didn't because of the issue in the past. I was seeing a counselor, though. That's for sure, because, God, how it drove me fucking nuts. But, yeah. I've had... Let's see. Destiny, 1, 2, 3. 8 pregnancies, maybe 9. Around there. According to Seymour, I've had 11 pregnancies altogether. But I don't know how that's possible unless there's some miscarriages I'm not self-aware of that they didn't tell me about. But in my records, it does show 4 births and 11 pregnancies, and majority of them were miscarriages. I did have an abortion done before Destiny that were twins, but that's because I was like 13, dude. I'm not gonna be a parent. I did not know what abortion meant. It's practically murdering the child within the womb. I will never fucking sign paperwork for that again. I was stupid and young. Like, again, I was 13 when I first got pregnant. That my mother practically tried to cover up. There was evidence when I was 10 of the father, that's technically Katana's dad, that's Kevin. There was evidence that he did rape me. He did go to jail. My grandparents, that are his parents, Betty and Daryl, had bailed his ass out. If they didn't bail him out and he didn't have a bail out, he would have been charged as a sexual predator. But he got bailed out. So he got away with it. 2015, I forgave him, but I told him if he ever touches my kids or my blood or someone else's blood, that I would come up there and make sure his ass would go to jail, and I would step in court for whoever the fuck he raped. When I was 21, I was in California with Corey at his grandparents, and I found out that he tried to rape my sister. I'm glad I was in California without an inhaler. She had my spare inhaler, and she had walked all the way from Battleground by the railroad tracks, all the way down to Patton Parkway, all the way down to Patton Parkway to 88th, and went to Krispy Kreme and used her fucking phone to call my mother. I didn't get the fucking phone call until like 1, 2 o'clock in the fucking morning because we were over in California in Orange County. That my mother calls me up saying Kevin tried to rape her, blah, 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 blah. How she walked barefoot all the way there. She didn't get a chance to fucking grab shoes, okay? This kid has balls. She walked in freaking socks all the way to fucking 88th from Battleground. She had fucking ballsy there. She's scared of her life. But Katana has no memory of that. She claims she has no memory of that. She no longer talks to Kevin because of his stupid issue. He's a workaholic, abusive. He beat the crap out of my mother multiple fucking times. There has been incidents in the past. The reason why they got divorced because, so my mom's first ex-husband, she left him. I don't know if she left him or he left her. I don't know exactly what went down. I was 3 years old when my parents got a divorce. When my mom divorced Kevin, they didn't file a divorce. The courts did. It ended up where it was a pattern, and she's doing it again. She never changes. She's changed a little, but not a lot. First time it was, I want a divorce from my mother. They dropped that case. They worked it out. My dad threatened to fucking file a divorce. Didn't happen. My mom threatened to file a divorce because they got into a fight over money. It was always over money. My mother was money hungry. And my dad wasn't willing to give her he gave her $100 a week. She would go out, get dressed, get makeup on, and go out to the bars and fuck around and have an affair with random people. Oh, I know I could have other siblings out there from my mother, as I know it, but she couldn't carry full term, so I don't know. Half of the pregnancy she went through could have not been Kevin's. And it ended up one night where they got into it. I was on the dog bed in the kitchen. I just literally remember exactly when this went down. It was my birthday. The cake went over the floor. The potato salad went over the floor. A lid was thrown across the room twice. Once by my mother, once by my dad. My mom grabbed a knife and threw the knife, and it landed into the wall next to my ear. I still have the cut in my ear. I still have the freaking cut. Like, there's an actual white mark on my ear. I have, like, a scar from that knife hitting the wall into my ear. I was crying. I was screaming. I was fucking traumatized. That fucking knife landed in my ear and sinked me against the wall. They didn't realize I was bleeding until the cops got called by the neighbors. Cops showed up. Grandparents were notified. Grandparents were pulling in. Why the cops were arresting my dad? He was being put into one cop car, and my mom was being put into the other car. They both went in my dad got charged for a DV type